Good day everyone, I'm Ed Bautista, I'm your instructor for this subject. So before I'm going to go with our lesson for today, so I'm going to emphasize first the importance of the following group chat rules and regulations. So I've noticed that some students are not mindful about it. I've actually posted that in your GC. So prior to um, the current announcements, I have already posted this. So please observe this. So please use your real name, follow this format. So last name and first name for easy recall. Do not post disrespectful words or terms in the GC. So I think that's clear. That doesn't need elaboration. So another one is to show respect always to your fellow students and teacher. Okay, so if you have a question, you may ask it politely. And also I have noticed students who are planning to cheat. They're saying that um, they can actually copy their classmates' answer, or they're asking for a copy of their classmates' answer. So that is a no-no. I do not encourage you to do that. And please do not post that in our GC. That doesn't sound, or that doesn't um, give you a good impression. Okay, so show respect always to the people who are in the GC. I am open for questions and concerns, so you can reach me through my email ad and the messenger. And please, I ask you, do not PM or message me beyond 10 PM because that is my sleeping time or resting time. And then only use our GC or group chat for school related works. Okay, so if you're planning to go outing, so do not chat that or do not use our GC. Official announcements will be posted in our GC, such as class sessions, activities that needs to be submitted. Okay, may mga students kasi na gusto na nila sagutan agad, so okay naman yun. However, I will just select activities na sasagutan nyo, no? Hindi naman lahat because I think that's not ano naman, no? That's not practical, no, na lahatin natin. So I'm just going to select activities that are important. Okay, so that's good that you have initiated na gusto niya na ninyo magsimula. However, so yun nga, sa dami naman ng information or mga sheets or activities na nandun, tapos medyo konti na lang yung time natin, so I think really have to adjust, no? So magkakaroon tayo ng modification. So hindi lahat na mga nakalagay doon ay sasagutan. So pili lang, pipili lang ako. Okay, now we're going to proceed to our first lesson. So we're going to talk about the nature of language. Okay, saan nga ba nagsimula ang language? So how does it originate? Okay? So one can subdivide approaches to the origin of language according to some underlying assumptions. Okay, so specifically, meron tayong tinatawag na continuity theories. So from the word continuity, so it's built on the idea that language exhibits so much complexity that one cannot imagine it simply appears from nothing. So nobody can imagine na bigla lang siyang sumulpot. Okay? Out of nowhere. So therefore, it must have evolved from earlier pre-linguistic systems among humans, primate ancestors. If you're familiar with the theory of evolution of Charles Darwin, so sabi niya, di ba, na yung tao nang mula daw sa unggoy or sa primate and then nag-evolve. So, ganun yung contention ng theory na ito. Language have evolved together with human beings, no? So parang nadala natin yung evolution. So because we have evolved from a primate to a human being, our way of communication, our language was also evolved through it, di ba? Kasali siya sa evolution or development. The second one is, ito naman, this is the opposite of the continuity. So sa continuity, it's part of the development. Sa discontinuity, hindi. So, it takes the opposite approach. So, sabi dito, language as a unique trait which cannot be compared to anything found among non-humans must have appeared fairly suddenly, abrupt, no? Pinakalit lang, nag-abrupt lang siya appear, na parang na sense ng tao na kailangan natin ng language, kailangan natin ng system of communication. So it's during the course of human evolution. Okay, so again, for the continuity theory, it's the development, or it's part of development. This continuity theory is, it just appeared out of nowhere or fairly suddenly. Another, some theories consider language mostly as an innate faculty, largely genetically encoded. So nasa ano na natin 'yan, parang bata pa tayo, we already have that attribute. Okay, so we have this theorist. He is Noam Chomsky. So in the 1960s, he proposed language acquisition device. Sabi dito sa language acquisition device, yung utak natin, meron na siyang capability na magsalita or gumamit ng language. It's just that at the early onset of our development, magsisimula pa yung development together with language. Okay, so pag magtigulang na ta or mo develop na ta, so ma-develop po dato ang way of speaking or communication or language. Okay, so innate siya, naana siya sa atua, kailangan lang siya i-activate or i-develop or gamiton. Okay, so another thing is the language as cultural system, no, learned through social interaction. Okay, so we learn language through our interaction with peers, parents, or our environment. So that's another theory or conception. So again, these are just assumptions, no? So these are not proven as true. So maraming mga antay sa mga theories na to. So depende sa inyo ano yung paniwalaan nyo. So hindi naman siya definite and conclusive yung mga ideas na nanggaling sa mga theories nito. Okay, so another theory. So sabi dito, so we have Bow theories of the origins of language. Bow is the first one, or cuckoo theory. So sabi ni Müller, German philosopher, so yung early word daw or early words are imitations of animal sounds such as the cries of beasts and the birds. Okay, so we can actually describe birds are chirping, mga ganon. So it actually started, human beings actually started language by imitating animal sounds. Well, it sounds ano naman, parang totoo naman siya, no? Parang may sense naman yung point or idea. Pero again, these are just theories. These are not yet proven. And then poo-poo. So this theory emphasizes that language evolved through emotional interjections, exclamations triggered by pain, pleasure, surprise, etc. So for example, yung word na ouch, di ba? So galing yan sa parang expression lang para malabas mo yung pain. So again, ouch lang siya until such time na na-discover ng mga tao na mas better pala na may ano tayo, no, may parang identification tayo ng expression, kaya naging formal language na siya eventually yung mga ganong expressions. Okay, so that's their parang contention, no? Nagsimula ang language sa mga ganun, sa mga simpleng expression lang ng emotion. Okay, and then ding dong, the third one. So ito naman, it's about the natural resonance ng mga natural things. For example, yung pag-struck ng lightning or lightning sound, mga bang, ding, and dong. Okay, that's why it's called ding dong, because it is based on the natural sounds of the things around. Okay, so that's why it's ding dong. So again, these are theories, no? These are not proven yet. So ngayon, we have questions to ponder, and we have also these questions in your module, no? So number 1, can animals communicate? Number 2, can monkeys produce language? What is the difference between language acquisition and language learning? Number 4, ano bang difference ng first language and second language? And number 5, as a Filipino, Kayo, how many languages can you speak and understand? And number 6, what happens after a language comes into contact with another? Okay? So number 1, let me give my answer to that, or my professional opinion. So number 1, yes, definitely animals can communicate because they have their own system of understanding themselves. Well, communication does not just happen verbally. We also have gestures or nonverbal communication. So maybe animals are relying on their instinct, and then also with their um, senses and gestures. Okay, number 2, can animals or can monkeys produce language? So I cannot really prove that monkeys produce language, because language by definition is quite complex. So monkeys are not considered as rational beings, kasi yung human beings ang rational, tayo yung rational. So they cannot express or speak or produce a language same as humans do, but of course they can definitely communicate. So sa difference naman ng language acquisition and language learning, pag sinabi nating language acquisition, unconscious ka. Okay? So you would just acquire language. Hindi mo siya ang kailangan pag-aralan. For example, our Bisaya or vernacular language. That is our first language. Okay? That's Bisaya or vernacular. So, hindi mo siya kailangan pag-aralan. You just acquire it. Diba? Wala may nagtudlo sa inyo mag-Bisaya. Diba? We're just able to learn it on your own. And pag sinabi nating language learning, it is a conscious process. Diba? So, meaning to say, imo siyang gitun-an, imo siyang gipaningkamutan na ma-develop nimo. Okay? And an example of that is yung Filipino language, or yung Tagalog, or yung English. That is our second language. Okay, so for the first language, yan yung basically yung parang foundation language sa ating setting, that's Bisaya, di ba? And second language natin usually is Filipino and English. So, Filipino and English. Okay, and another one, as a Filipino, I myself, how many languages I can speak, understand? Well, I only understand English and Filipino. And yung mga regional dialects natin, hindi ko lahat maintindihan. Okay? So, for example, sa Bisaya, na dialect, maraming variations, 'di ba? Lahi itong sa mga jaon-jaon, lahi itong sa mga kamayo, lahi pod itong sa tandag, sa tago, etc. Okay? So, may variations sa language or dialect. So, language, if it is being spoken in a particular place or region or locality, it's called a dialect. No, it's not really a language. But if it is spoken nationally, nationwide, worldwide, like English and Filipino, then it can be called a language. So, yung Bisaya natin, hindi yan language. That's a dialect. Okay? And when a language comes in contact with another, so there is an intercultural interaction. Okay? So, meaning, people having different ethnic backgrounds, having different cultural backgrounds, they integrate because they're trying to share information or connect to each other. So, nagkakaroon na parang interaction yung kanilang mga cultural backgrounds na tinatawag. For example, I had a classmate before who is a Turkish. So, when we communicate, since hindi naman siya verbose or capable makipag communicate ng Filipino or Bisaya, so we only use English. And then when he speaks, distinct talaga yung kanyang pagka-Turkish. And kami din pagka-Filipino namin. So when we communicated, so yung contact namin parang nagkakaroon ng intercultural interaction. That he is learning things from me, and I also am learning things from him, no, na within the communication is nare-realize ko na ang dami palang nasi-share ng tao, ang dami niya palang alam, no, sa Philippines. And marami din akong nalalaman sa kanya about sa kanilang place, because we share cultural practices, values, beliefs along with our communication. Okay? So now, how distinct is human language from other languages? Okay? So we have now the characteristics of human language. Okay, so distinct or different yung human language because we have this discrete infinity na tinatawag, no? Discrete meaning to say it's very, very secret, or para siyang tago, kumbaga. And then, though it's tago or it's discrete, there is a limited or an unlimited or an infinite ways of expression, no? So for example, English alphabet has only 26 letters. Pero anong nagagawa natin sa 26 letters, di ba? We can express a lot of things. So unlimited or infinite, di ba? Using the alphabet of the English language. Now, aliens cannot access the way we communicate because discrete nga eh, hindi nga capable yung mga aliens na, if they exist, na mag-communicate ng natin. Also, the animals cannot do that, di ba? Because that's discrete. It's only among human beings. Okay? And displacement. So, we can talk about time. Human beings can talk about space, can talk about abstract notions, etc. And we also have joint attention. Human language express a shared goal, di ba? So, for example, may magjowa, di ba? Nag-communicate sila. So, their shared goal is to express their feelings. May mga may mga students, they are communicating or talking because they are talking about how to pass the subject. So, that is their shared goal. Okay? So, when we communicate as human beings, we feel the connection, di ba? So, when we experience the pandemic, na-isolate ako for several weeks because na-quarantine ako. I felt the need to communicate or to interact. So, kato mga nakasabay na ako sa quarantine facility, nakihimamat ko sa ilaha, istorya na ako sila, because as human beings, parang kailangan natin kailangan natin makipag-usap. Okay? So, I think that's part of our need. Okay, so far I think these are the important concepts of the first lesson. So again, if you have questions or clarifications, you may just inform me through messenger or email. And then for my basic introduction lang, so this is the information that is all about me. Okay, and then if you want to contact me, so I have here my contact details, and you can just PM me in messenger. Okay, so for today, I think that would be all. So another session or recorded session will be produced next week. So stay tuned. Thank you.